Coach has been blown away by Crabtree's hands and his ability to suck in these balls.
Tyrell Williams, he beats Cox.
This is a really thickly built guy.
We didn't let the team go because we were switching out balls.
Give her 6 quavers, then pause.
I hope someone's taking all this down. What are we saying to each other? It's like they're trying to teach us a basic 70s disco. It's the first day of school, fellas. You have a translation error like on this signal? We're taking over this conversation now.
You need a gun because you're weak. You need a bullet because your voice is small. Enough is enough.
I will not be stopped.
Join with us right now.
What size?
This one's from Jeremy in Wisconsin. And it says, Toffee brand coffee is the best coffee in the world. Thanks for the grift.
Anyway, I'm going to find out who this quartering character is. And when I do, he's going to get a bit of the old ice-cold treatment.
Went from loathing Brie Larson to being the unofficial #1 fan site for Brie Larson. Sorry for the unprofessional.
Handshake.
You know. Well,
you're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, your motorcycle.
Well, I'm going live anyway. Let's see here. Why aren't we on the screen? Oh, because the video's playing. 4 seconds. Okay. Well, welcome on in. I'm gonna pass it off to Hannah, Claire, and Luke just for a minute. I'll be right back. Bye.
Jeremy has his gigolo appointment, so he has to, of course, make sure he makes that. How are you guys
man about
doing?
A fish, you know?
Yeah, I mean, his like quote fishing, fishing quote contractor. I don't
Coral. Okay.
I know. I don't buy it. As of course. Holy cow, Jason! I haven't seen Jason for so long. We haven't talked in such a long while. We usually do pleasantries in the beginning of this kind of like broadcast, just to kind of talk to people how their weekends were. When's the last time we talked? I think it was like many years and years ago.
In person or even online, and obviously we've DM'd each other, but I don't know that we've talked. It's got to be years. The funny thing is that he was, for those that don't know, he has a contractor coming over. I literally put my landlord off, who next to my office is putting up a sidewall, because my dog would also be barking and going crazy till after this broadcast. So they're supposed to show up in a couple hours.
What kind of dog do you have?
I've got a Staffordshire Terrier. Everybody calls them pit bulls, but we don't use that term. There's no such thing as a pit bull. There's only just a loving animal.
That's funny. I mean, I feel like dogs are.
Oh, Hannah's already breaking up there. What have you been up? Yeah. She's frozen. She's gone. How have you been, man? What have you been up to? I haven't been seeing a lot of your stuff online. But it looks like you got a fancy smancy studio back there. Looks pretty
it
cool.
looks that way. I mean, I have a home studio and some good graphics in the background. I've kind of had a whirlwind few years, right? Like, so I've worked for a bunch of independent media that has gone under. At one time I was rocking 2 shows at a time. I ended up on that Reawaken America tour, even though, you know, I'm obviously not a MAGA guy. And they just let me kind of go off on transhumanism. So behind the scenes, I was around people like Kash Patel before he was the FBI director, and Donnie T's kids were always there, and Mike Lindell. Kind of bizarre experience, but at the same time, just kind of been trucking along. And now with the Epstein thing, kind of gained some favor with the Mario Nafal crowd in the debates. And I actually might be hosting some of those debates in the near future. So we'll see what happens. You know the deal in this game. You kind of got to be able to keep your head afloat. That's what we're doing, just totally independent. And for the first time, Radowski, in 5 years since the COVID 1984 nightmare, even though I am still fully demonetized as a channel, I've been able to grow. And I don't know what it's about, but like I hit my peak right under 73K and then literally fully demonetized. My channel was taken away 5 separate times. I had to use Twitter to shame the team with my audience to give me my channel back. And ever since they put James Corbett back on there, gave Dan Dix back his channel, I've been able to grow. So we're hoping to somehow, some way, claw, kick, and scream to 100K and then shame YouTube into monetizing my channel again.
Yeah,
fairy tales and unicorns maybe exist. I don't know.
It definitely does feel like the boot is off a lot of our throats recently with YouTube. I think that's one way of describing the kind of because people don't realize back in the day we were like dominating and destroying YouTube, Google video, top trending charts, #1 most watched, #1 most commented. They used to give out awards. People forget. People got awards on YouTube. Be like, this is the #1 talked about video in all of news and politics for today, for this week, for this month. And you should get all these rewards. And then all of us started getting it. You started getting it. Alex Jones started getting it. All these other people were getting it. And I'm like, and then they're like, we got to take this away. Sorry, guys. We can't do this anymore. And they got rid of Google videos. And, you know, we were up there on the trending charts with Fabled Enemies, 9/11 Chronicles, Truth Rising, Endgame, Loose Change, and we just absolutely dominated the game. And then they're like, no, we opened the door too much. We got to close it down.
So let's talk about that for a second. So Luke and I have actually known each other over 20 years. I think I posted a photograph of us from 2004 or 5.
Pull it up, put it in the private chat if you can. I think I retweeted it too.
I'll look for it in a second, but I want to make a point here because you just talked about kind of the evolution of where streaming, monetization, YouTube is. All right. YouTube is just part of the military industrial complex. And what do I mean by that? #1, Google, which is the parent company, Alphabet's the big one, has total defense contracts. They work with NASA on quantum computing and artificial intelligence. Let's look at their monopoly statistics. They're the #1 search engine in the world. The #2 search engine in the world is YouTube, which they own. The #1 video platform in the world is YouTube. The #1 operating system in the world is on most magic boxes globally is Android. The #1 operating system in schools in the West is Chrome with their books. I mean, that, and they also have an immortality division. Now, people forget YouTube was not theirs. So when they were basically a search engine to most people, they did what was called Google Video. And this is when we were dominating the charts. And this is where Loose Change kind of became a phenomenon because of this. And the media was reporting on it. And what they did outside of YouTube, which is to me the real last tech social media startup before the Borg totally, put everything out. I mean, you can argue Rumble, but that's got some big money behind it, et cetera, after a lot of censorship. But Google bought them for, I believe it was like $7.6 billion. And at the time, Google Video was the only platform we could upload 4-hour videos. Remember? Yep. YouTube was only 10 minutes at a time. It wasn't a streamer. There were select people that had directors' accounts, but that was few and far between. So once Google absorbed YouTube, they shut down Google Video. And that was also the trend where they locked down a lot of the trending stuff. Early on, you were able to stream live and get a lot of views. And every once in a while, you still are able to do that, to your credit, Luke. But at the same time, those restrictions came early for independent media. I remember when WikiLeaks came out, And they were talking about your Wikipedia from these leaked emails, and they didn't even want to credit your name or We Are Change as an organization as source material that they had to cover. That should show people that this kind of censorship industrial complex goes way, way back.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty insane if you think about
how does Rumble and like Truth Social, these other alternative platforms, factor into the future of the censorship bureaucracy?
Well, I would just say this. Rumble, they've been pretty open with me. I mean, they gave me a guy in the very beginning. At the same time, the game has changed. If I want to stream on Rumble, I've got to pay to do it, right? And I would say maybe, I make maybe $500 to $1,000 streaming on Rumble. And even though they don't necessarily have an algorithm, they also do pick winners and losers. They do put people on the front page. They do promote certain accounts, etc. I don't know that they're going to be promoting a ton of accounts that are maybe critical of Peter Thiel and his involvement in this. Elon Musk and that kind of viewpoint is promoted. I'd say they're much better, but are they totally and completely censorship free? I'd honestly say if you really want totally and completely censorship free, you'd have to probably go BitChute. And BitChute's been around now, probably a decade. They incorporated live streaming 2-3 years ago. They can't seem to get traction. They also don't have the investment of people that also have big time defense contracts like Peter Thiel. So, again, I'm all for as many platforms as possible to get my message out. And look, David Icke just relaunched his YouTube channel. Not that I agree with everything Icke says, but you use the tools that you have.
Yeah, Candace Owens even got remonetized recently, which is kind of showing this kind of changing landscape where I think YouTube realizes that, they're going to have to let off the kind of censorship foot here in order to be competitive with a lot of these alternative markets and alternative media platforms. So it's interesting because it's also moving towards artificial intelligence as well. But I know you have a whole plethora of things that you want to talk about that because that's kind of your forte here. Yeah, Jeremy, welcome back. We were just talking about our 20-year.
Yeah, I heard. Is Luke just picking guests based on people who come on here and say nothing but good things about him? I mean, I think no, I'm glad you're here.
Or people just have nothing but good things to say about me. That's also the case here too, Jeremy.
Yeah, perhaps. I will say, look, I think. I don't think. I mean, I've been pretty critical of Elon Musk. Rumble doesn't have any problem putting me on the homepage about Peter Thiel. So I don't know. I disagree with that, like the censorship stuff. But you are right. Like there are people who their algorithm could use a tweak. Right now, Discovery is basically, are you big enough already to have a stream, and then Rumble will promote you. I don't really think Rumble gives a shit about what people say. I mean, Nick Fuentes had 50,000 people live watching him the other day. I mean, but I do think that the core, like discoverability on anything but YouTube, and really discoverability is dead on YouTube now too. For a while, you could actually like name a new channel that does what we do. Name a new commentary news channel that has 100,000 subscribers. They don't exist. All that happens is somebody who's already famous or already has a channel will like pivot or do something else. The discoverability, which I think by design is a form of control, and the idea that anybody new, like I've said this a million times, like there's no way in hell I could start today and ever build this channel. Like there is no discoverability. Now, platforms like I would say TikTok, ironically, might be the one where you can actually go from zero to hero because there are so many examples of it. Now, are they being picked? Well, we certainly know during the Trump administration they were picking any troon they could, putting them on the homepage and pushing a lot of like progressive, erosive. They promote basically leftist ideologies in America. So I mean that's obviously part of it, but. The problem is even X, like X is as bad as it's ever been. It's like completely taken over by AI slop, and I see the same 5 accounts no matter what I do, no matter who Elon. I mean, let's be honest. Elon promotes his own account, which is embarrassing, and he tips the algorithm anytime he wants to the people who are agreeing with him. And X is probably one of the worst platforms in terms of discoverability, and he used to be one of the better. When it was, honestly, when it was Twitter, if you weren't getting banned, you could still like grow. Now it's just completely flooded with bots and AI slop. I wanted to, like, sorry to come in hot here, but
hey,
I
it's
do.
your show, buddy.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's everybody's show. Jason, thanks for joining us. I wanted to get your take, because you seem really plugged in on this stuff, about, we talked about it on yesterday's show, like dead internet theory. Are you familiar with that?
I know
as a
exactly
concept?
what you're talking about.
Doesn't it seem like that's real? Like, it seems like there's no people online anymore.
So I would argue there's plenty of people scrolling for its and bits.
Engaged, probably. Yeah.
And there are certain people that are looking for, content, but at the same time, it is so aggregated against the little guy. First of all, let's talk about X a little bit and kind of the inversion of that platform, where they used to pay you and they wanted you to grow to get an audience, so they get a piece of it. Now on X, I have to pay $80 a year if I want to post a video longer than 2 minutes or want to live stream like this. So I have to.
Isn't that crazy? Because you make just enough to make it worth it, and so you're like, fine.
It's not even that. It's just the principle of me essentially being able to post more than a 2.5 minute video. Now they constantly want you to hit that promote button, so you pay for that algorithm. At the same time, let's think about how corrupt that is, and that model's been around essentially since Facebook and Facebook advertising. They don't have to give you the same as the other guy. You have no guarantee on what kind of reach that's going to be and who they're going to aggregate that to. And let me say the big thing about X, and they've changed it somewhat. You say you get the same 5 accounts. I would agree with that mostly. You actually have to change from the For You to the Following account. And even that is somewhat aggregated. They've done a better job, where at least I don't see the one from 3 hours at the top. I see a post from like 5 minutes ago or 1 minute ago from whoever, and it is broader. But listen, I'm following somebody for a reason. Just give me the entire timeline. Don't pick for me. That would be the basis of that platform.
Isn't it funny how that's always been the case? Like, at the core of complaints from creators or whatever you might want to call yourself. I mean, everybody's made that video. Like, I have 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube. How about you send it to them? Like, I have 100,000 followers on Facebook and I get 45 likes. It's like they allow you to grow long enough, and then they gate off everybody who wants to see your stuff and make you pay. Like, I noticed that, obviously, you mentioned, I think other than Hannah Claire, we've got kind of 3 internet old heads here. Like, I remember having 10,000 followers on Facebook and getting thousands of interactions. And I was like, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you want your followers to see your shit? Well, that'll be $75 a post. And it's like, they tricked the whole internet. Like, we all built platforms on these places.
They got you addicted and then took it away.
Well, let me just jump in on that.
Yeah,
think about this. Facebook kind of became the main line, and now they also own Instagram, and you could almost say Twitter's kind of almost an imitation down the line. MySpace was the only thing with any kind of individuality.
So good.
And you could build your own kind of sub page that looked completely different. You could kind of build your parameters, but guess what? Didn't have that sweet Peter Thiel funding or Sean Parker coming in and investing and kind of disrupting that whole thing as well. I think they picked a winner in that. And just to kind of go back to this AI stuff at this point, and where everything is driving in your dead internet theory, AI is not going to be a real competitive race. There will be outliers. There will be certain things that leak to the public. But does anybody here know about the CAIO program?
I don't.
So this is the Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer program implemented under Biden, continuing under Trump, that nobody is talking about. And essentially what you have is any private company that is working in the arena of AI, and that's all of them, okay? They have to have a CAIO officer that also has a certain security clearance. So this is hardware.
I see where this is going.
It gets better. So in their own embedded documents, they tell you that all of these companies with the CAIOs that are reporting to the government, they can be audited at any time. And the only exceptions are defense contractors, the intel community, and the DoD in which they're working with. So how does that have anything to do with free market? Instead, what we're getting is narrative control on a mass level throughout basically every single industry that is even slightly technological.
Well, I want to go to Hannah Claire on this because she's our resident AI expert. But like we're
true expert too.
I do think it's funny because I my background's in search marketing, and I've looked at basically AI's impact on search engine results. Because at the end of the day, how did Google make its money? Ads and selling data. But like they now when they roll out like AI answers on everything, you're no longer seeing ad revenue from that. So it's going to be interesting to watch how AI affects monetization. I've talked about the long term. What's going to happen is we've seen YouTube actually testing this. They're going to use AI to scrape videos, and then they're going to create videos from AI and then run their own ads on them so they don't have to share the revenue with creators. Mark, like put that in your back pocket. That's going to happen by 2026. They already have an AI video carousel on the top of YouTube that will, support those videos. And if you upload videos to YouTube, you automatically opt in to letting them, their video AI, I forget which one theirs is called, use your videos to learn and it's all, all that data then flows to the government. Hannah Claire, what do you think, as someone who, browses the internet constantly looking for new conspiracy theories and researching on which people in the media are Jewish or not, how do you see this shaking out in the short term? Because I think in the short term, we're in for a bit of turmoil.
I think you'll see AI dominance rapidly expand. I think part of the issue, and Jason doesn't know this about me, but despite what they're saying, I'm actually totally freaked out by AI. I'm a Luddite. I'm a neo-boomer. I don't want to be involved in technology. But the thing is, it's unavoidable. I mean, everything you touch right now is being integrated from AI. I mean, we're talking about social media and the fact that your searches are being monitored by AI. There's AI suggestion, there's AI content. But if you go to your doctor's office, I bet you that they're recording your medical records in a program that's integrated with AI. And it's to me something that we should be screaming about all the time. I know a lot of people take this like the technology is unavoidable. Elon Musk used to say things like that, like it's just going to happen, so we have to go with. But it's going to pick up the pace exponentially, and I think you'll end up seeing sort of the death of privacy and the right to opt out. I mean, even now, for example, is when you go through TSA and they want to take your photograph, and you have the right to opt out. You don't have to do it, but most people are like, "Oh, this is what everyone's doing. I didn't know that." It's the same thing with AI. It's going to be so difficult to try and safeguard any private data that you are online and you are integrated into the program, whether you want it or not.
Yeah, that's now they're doing it with passport control. Now it's coming back into America. They're like, all right, give us your passport. And then I go take a photo. I'm like, I'm not going to take the photo. And like, what? You're not taking the photo? And then it was like, okay. And then they interrogated me for like 15 minutes. But I'm like, do you think you're being spied on? I'm like, well, yeah, of course, everyone's being spied on. The government literally lost their social security numbers. That's like identity theft is through the roof. And now with AI, you want me to give up more of my biometric data? As of course, it just came out that ICE is literally working on taking a photo of you 15 feet away and then imprinting your iris to the point of being identical to your kind of digital fingerprint, where they could identify people from photos that they take 15 feet away. So this data obviously is going straight to Homeland Security. There's a reason individuals like Eric Schmidt worked on the Artificial Intelligence Pentagon Weaponized Board many, many years ago. So he's also a high-ranking member of Bilderberg, former head of Google, Alphabet, and all these other kind of mega corporations. There's a reason from Google he went straight to the Pentagon, weaponizing artificial intelligence, which I believe already is sentient. I believe is already out there. As, of course, a lot of advanced U.S. tech is usually developed and then kept secret from the general public and then later released. So I believe the AI is already smarter than vast majority of human beings. And I believe there's a big possibility that it's already in charge.
Well, before I kick it back to Jason, I want to ask his take on, how long I forget the exact number. I've talked about this on the show, but like something like 4 or 5% of Americans actually believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Like, and with what Hannah Claire was saying is like, that's a real thing. You can look it up. It's like millions of Americans. And once you like, I keep that little like kernel in my mind every time I'm like, how did they do this? How did they roll? One other topic we're going to talk about next is like online. They basically rolled out online ID, by the way, while no one was watching. Like that's basically a thing now. It's like, oh, well, 60%, 70%, I'm just making that up, but like over a majority of people are just going to opt into this stuff. What are our chances of putting off like that total adoption? Because once 60-70% of the people are willingly opted into this kind of nonsense, then they'll just say everyone else has to do it. You know what I mean? Like Luke won't be able to say no next year this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just say, I think that as far as things like that, I think you're going to get away with consent for a little bit longer. You guys bring up the photos. Well, you can still also opt out of the body scanners. And the body scanners now have been pretty much implemented around the country for a decade plus. People don't know that as well. As far as your data being collected, I'm sorry, Charlie.
It's over. Yeah.
If you're connected, if you've got I don't care if you're running Lineage or Graphene or you got the super secret signal, if you're around areas that have cameras, if you've got an email, if you've got an IP address, they've got it. And this is what I think most people are naive to. They think that, for instance, Edward Snowden was the great revelation that the United States had been spying on everybody. Look up a case called Hepting versus AT&T, which was thrown out of court twice, where the NSA literally had things called Norris Insight systems in every telecommunication office back in the 90s, pre 9/11, and was already running code word software. In fact, it's funny. So one of those softwares was Carnivore. Now, if you ask the AI about Carnivore, it'll tell you that, they implemented Carnivore post 9/11 to receive all these communications. But then if you press it, just like every time, it'll placate to you and be like, actually, in limited use prior to 9/11, they were using Carnivore. So I don't know that you can fully opt out. I'm not a Luddite, by the way. My big problem is that technology continuously has been used to enslave humanity rather than empower it. And this time around, it might not just be enslavement. You look at what these people are doing and writing in the transhumanist field. We're talking about evisceration.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about extermination so the elites could live forever. That's what's really happening here.
Let me redirect if I can, because that's an interesting subtopic. If like there have been studies done already that like short form video has destroyed like Gen Z's attention span.
Yeah.
It is effectively like the entire population is now less able to tune into shit and that happened in like a year, 2 years. And it's scary to me, just how quickly and how effective these things are. I wanted to get your take, and we'll go around the horn. We'll start with Jason, Luke, Hannah Claire. This is something I've been talking about, like digital ID is here basically, and we lost. Like I'm working on like a long form video that's basically like, sorry guys, it's here. And we have numerous companies, including, YouTube, TikTok, like a lot of companies like, we have to do it because the UK got cucked and Australia got cucked, but they just rolled it out in America anyway. Like YouTube is already using AI to say, to determine your age. And if they determine you're not the right age, then you have to send your ID or credit card into them. TikTok's doing this. By the end of the year, it'll be mandatory. I mean, just to get, X monetization, you have to give X your ID. If anybody with a blue check on X, by the way, is given X their ID. So if they're espousing how they never do that, they did. And meanwhile, what is your take on this online ID stuff? Because we all, China's got it. China's got their digital social credit score. Will never happen here. Well, by the end of the year, YouTube's going to have it basically implemented. They're willingly doing it in the U.S. market when there's no law that says it. Texas has laws on the books about it. New York City has laws on the books on it. Utah has laws already on the books on it. Like, we're protecting kids from social media. Well, how do you do that? Well, you give us your information. You have to give the government and everybody your ID to use their platforms. Now, how quickly is this going to spiral out of control, do you think? Or is it we already lost in general?
Man, I don't know that we're already lost in the sense that you can still if you really want to mask your digital footprint, like you're going out of the way for some kind of communications, maybe you can get away with that. And that's kind of part of even spycraft and espionage that we don't really get into. For instance, the Tor network, which is kind of the gold standard for the quote unquote dark web, that is integrated into that community, and they helped really promote that network for a reason. So I think there's always going to be back doors, or at least for the foreseeable future. But as far as the direction where it's going, I'm more concerned about the currency aspect incorporated with that.
This is the first step, though, right? Attaching an ID to an internet persona.
It's part of the step, because I think the first steps have already taken place. For instance, a lot of people are worried about a central bank digital currency and tokenized currency, as they should be. But what they don't already understand is it doesn't necessarily have to be one CBDC. And like Luke was talking about with your biometric data, you already have that incorporated. It just came to the US big time this year with WorldCoin and Sam Altman. Are you aware of that project?
I am, yeah. But maybe to the there's 20,000 people watching. So why don't you share the what's going on with that?
WorldCoin basically started a few years ago as this project as a global currency to make sure you're human. Okay, so this identity that we're talking about, to verify it. And it started with this great Lochnar looking crystal ball thing called an orb, where you would go to these locations.
Love it. Oh, I love this. Yeah.
You would go to these locations, and there was only one in the United States in the beginning. It was under the World Trade Center. You go down the escalators, you could do it there. But it was global, and you'd sign in. And basically, once you scanned, every month you'd get a world coin. Okay. And then, of course, the people that would harness your soul, your biometrics, they would get world coins as well. They've now gone a lot chicer. They have the Orb Mini, which is basically a glorified cell phone that does the same exact thing. And they've made their location in LA. And now they're going to hotspots in Arizona, Nashville, Tennessee. And they're incorporating this system of blockchain currency incorporated into your biometrics with somebody who's very close to the White House right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of this. Yeah. Sorry, I just have so much I want to say about this. Since Mexico just rolled out biometric identification systems that are mandatory for all citizens. So if you look at what Mexico's doing, what Canada's doing, the UK's doing, it all is leading to what's happening in China, where people are literally being fined and paying for products with their face. There's a person that jaywalks in China, boom, automatically your picture's taken. You get a notification on your phone saying, oh, this much has been taken out of your bank account because you jaywalked and you violated the law.
That's now. That's not future even.
No,
like that's already happening. Yeah. You have to scan your face to play video games there. And they limit the number of hours you can play video games. That's I tell people that all the time. Like, that's crazy talk. I'm like, that's been happening for years. I'm not going Alex Jones here. I'm talking no, this is already happening. What on earth do you think is coming down the pipeline?
Exactly, which is even worse and even more draconian and even more insane to the point of things that we can't even envision in sci-fi movies. So this is all leading down to a trajectory of just total control. Total Information Awareness was the program that Palantir kind of took over as a private entity. And that was the program where they were just taking everything. And people were like, that's a little bit too much here. Let's put it in a private corporation. Everything will be fine.
Let's rebrand it and do the same thing. Yeah.
Let's do the same exact thing, but do it through a private corporation. And I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. Even before Snowden came out, we were I confronted the head of the NSA and I confronted the head of the CIA, General Hayden. And I says, hey, your guys were literally caught spanking it to people's private nudes that they were sending through text messages. He freaked out. And this was before the Snowden revelations. So this is what they were doing. So you can not only imagine what they're doing now, since they're collecting all the biometric data of everyone that's literally going in and out of the airports, and now implementing other systems in the United Kingdom. It's not just airports, they're doing it in the streets. The United Kingdom today actually announced that they're rolling out facial recognition systems in the streets of the United Kingdom, where people are just walking out down the street. Their facial recognition data is being collected without their consent and being utilized in this whole government database system.
But it'll keep them safer, Luke. Don't you want the kids to be safe?
Yeah.
Hannah Claire, I want to kick it. Oh, go ahead.
No, this is the issue that I think we really need to think back here. They created the problem because if you look at a lot of these big tech social media companies, especially Facebook and Google, they were essentially entities and private enterprises of the CIA. They created this problem, and now they have an excuse to, of course, fix the problem, which is you giving up more of your civil liberties, more of your rights, more of your privacy in order to fix the problem that they caused in the first place. And that's, I think, how we need to understand this kind of larger conundrum that we're all in as we're propelling down this type of technocratic fascistic state that there's no going back from.
Hannah Claire, do you think, because a lot of this stuff is presented as a convenience. For example, what do they call it in the airport? You can bypass TSA if you sign up for, what do they call it?
TSA pre-checked.
Pre-check, and then they have something else called.
Also, this is one of the reasons why when people were masking, I was like, hey, this is not a bad idea because it's going to stop the facial recognition nonsense from happening in our society. and everyone's like, oh, you stupid masker. I'm like, dude, you don't understand the tyranny. Like, have you ever read Zbigniew Brzezinski? Like, have you ever read any of these documents all the way back in the 1970s predicting this kind of technocratic AI takeover? As of course, that guy was a part of the Trilateral Commission, the CFR, the Bilderberg Group. He was David Rockefeller's right-hand man implementing and building this kind of system that we're all living in now. Sorry, I just
yeah. No, I know this is both of your guys' wheelhouses. But Hannah Claire, what do you think? Is privacy basically dead now? Sorry, I gotta grab this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way. I think one of the issues is definitely the convenience factor. Everything is integrated online, and we're a completely dependent society. I also think generally people are pretty illiterate about how, to what extent. I mean, when Facebook launched, no one ever read the terms of service, right? So then later when they realized it's scrubbing every tab they have open when they're checking their Facebook messages from their high school crush or whatever they were doing, like people have no idea what they were giving up to be on these social platforms. And I think some of that has to do with, just perfect storm. I mean, as the technology was developed, we also sort of collapsed as a society in terms of our cultural norms. And I always reference Bowling Alone, but the idea that our community exists only online. If you were to try and opt out of being a part of technology, it would be very difficult to live in modern society.
I don't think you can fully opt out. I think that's the big issue. I think that, especially with all this stuff, you got to navigate it. One of the technologies that you guys didn't mention that's also being utilized at airport that kind of has this biometric identity to it is, if you check it out, they had this thing at Delta and others in Detroit where only your info is up on the screen based on it following you.
What
and
the
where
hell?
line. Yeah, that's been around for 3 years.
Big Brother is here, Jeremy.
Oh, no way, man. That's nuts.
And I think, you know what they call it? They call it parallel reality, because that's really what they're trying to, that's the next push, man. We have all this confusion and people talk about it all the time. And the Bilderberg Group, if you will, he talked about Schmidt. You look at Google again. For those that don't know, I mean, that was shepherded by the Intel community. From the very beginning, the National Library Initiative is how they won. And Larry Page and Sergey Brin thanked DARPA and NASA in particular for their initial search algorithm. So then as they come up, you just mentioned it, Eric Schmidt is as Defense Department and AI driven as it gets. People need to look into that guy. And all this technology is being rolled out on a hardcore basis as commercialized, and it's so fun and it's awesome. TrackTrace database is kind of blasé. I think the next thing is getting you to merge with the technology as much as possible and reject as much of your biological reality as possible.
So what you're saying is, actually, I'm gonna do. We're just free flowing here, so I'm gonna end that segment there. But then I want to move in. So I'm guessing you're probably not a huge fan of Neuralink, then.
let's talk.
Do you see where Neuralink is going, perhaps? And
you know what? Who's Neuralink's competitor? The commercial competitor?
No.
BlackRock Neurotech. Okay, so the other
I could have guessed.
And by the way, I have been keeping up on that. They gave a presentation last month where now they have somebody, for instance, who has full ALS and is totally nonverbal, interacting with the Neuralink. They have 6 different people playing Mario Kart with one another. But here's the really interesting thing to me about that technology that a lot of people don't understand is, as far as I've seen, the non-invasive stuff that's been around years ago is just as advanced in directly putting the chip in. What do I mean by that? There's been wearables around for over a decade that you basically train to do things, commands the same way. So in other words, you don't put the chip in and then all of a sudden you just think about your Xbox controller or whatever and you're controlling a video game. You literally have to go in there, have the device in, but when you had it worn, you start thinking about it, they fire, and that's how the control actually happens. I think that, again...
that's been around since, I mean, maybe the 2000s or even before. I feel like that was in the Ghostbusters movie. Like, where they had the like all the little sensors like all over your head, you know?
Even less than that. I'm talking about headband technology 15 years ago that was commercialized that you could buy. I do videos on it because there were people that were using it and showing how they were getting it to be coded. It's similar to that with this brain chip and what it's able to do. At the same time, you know, I've talked about NASA a lot here. NASA, DARPA, their chief scientist, he resigned about 3 years ago. I think this summer it'll be 3 years ago, but he was around pre-Apollo. We're talking Gemini days, long term. In one instance, in 2011 at the Blue Tech Forum, he discussed already 10,000 brain chips in human beings, gave another presentation in 2018 saying that there were 200,000 brain chips in human beings.
Well, don't they have the one that like stops seizures? That one has been around for a long time too.
I mean, you have obviously the cochlear implants.
For the hearing ones. Yeah.
Yes. You have actually vision implants as well. But if you really go into at least the public ones, DARPA and other programs were doing this in the late 50s, not where they could just like fend you off, but you would be connected to the computer, for instance, and then they could get it to control a keyboard and communicate in that regard. But the idea, again, that you had over 200,000, and we're talking about 6 people, I would encourage people to check out Bushnell's document that is from July of 2001. Okay, it's called Future Strategic Warfare 2025. And if you read that thing, which is it's basically a PowerPoint presentation, but you can find speeches of him. In fact, Bushnell on camera says that Google is already the universal brain, and it's going to be reading all of your emails, listening to all your conversations, creating these digital twins. It literally lays out the last 25 years. I mean, it's pretty scary how accurate it was.
Well, you know, when we're talking about, it's tough because I'm a relative normie on this stuff. So it's great having you on. And by the way, you know, everyone make sure you guys go follow Jason. He also, I kind of stepped in a little late. You are on YouTube and you are on Rumble, right? I found your Rumble. It's at Rumble/The Info Warrior. But are you also on YouTube too? Because we're live everywhere. Yeah.
Yep. Same exact thing too. I mean, it's Jason Burmis of the Info Warrior from my old school days. For those that don't know, started as a documentary filmmaker, but I was also the first guy to have a show on InfoWars all the way back in 2009, I think, when he first expanded other than Alex Jones. So I've been in the game for a very long time. A lot of content there, folks.
Yeah. So make sure you go if you're one of the, I don't know, 15,000, 20,000 who are watching on Rumble now, or the 50,000 who will watch on repeat later. Go check out Jason's channel, support him. He's on YouTube, he's on Rumble. Our biggest audience is on Rumble. We have 15,000 watching on Rumble and 400 watching on YouTube. So I always try to push the Rumble stuff, but also, you know, I'm not platform exclusive. So if you're a YouTube only viewer, or you're out there watching on Twitch right now, or on X or on Kick, you know, watch him wherever you feel most comfortable. You know, Hannah Claire, we've talked about Neuralink before, and then we'll kick it back to, I know that I wanted to get to you before Luke, because I can see Luke is like ready to explode down there. It's for
That's what she said.
the no, I think it was more like, oh, Luke exploded again. When I see like the stuff that they do with Neuralink, it's hard for me to like. I'm like, man, that's awesome. Like this person, can't even. They have ALS. They can't move. Now they're playing video games. Like you literally, that person had no functional life before. And if we had Melanie on the panel, I think she would call it demonic. I think she has called it demonic in the past. Basically, you're basically saying, hey, people who are religious would probably say like, well, God chose this life for this person, and then you put a chip in their head and now whatever. But what do you make of kind of Neuralink and where that's going? Are we ever going to get anything that has some good without getting all of the bad?
No, obviously not. I don't think there are things like that when it comes to science and technology, and that's the trade-off of life. It's true for all things. You're nicer than I am. I mean, when I see the videos where they're like, look, this person was paralyzed and now there's the chip and they can walk. Like, yes, I can understand that that's good and we should be happy about science, but I just don't trust it. And I feel like we are now waiting for the shoe to drop. The same way that, again, I'm going to sound like I'm 1,000 years old, but like when Facebook was rolled out and they're like, oh my gosh, you can follow that girl from college. Hooray. Like that's great for you. But what are you giving up? And I just don't think long term that we'll always look back on this period pre the ubiquity of Neuralink and other sort of mind or body altering technology and be like, everything was good and we were headed down a great path. I mean, you can't stick your head in the sand and be like, no technology, we're resisting it forever. But there's a reason that they lead with the heartwarming videos, because that way you buy in and you don't question it. And when you say, I think we should maybe stop and think about this, you're being anti, saving someone's life, changing a paraplegic's life. It puts you in a bad spot.
Yeah. Well, Luke, let me redirect before I say everything. The mic's yours, but I also wanted to get your take on, how do we go from Elon Musk having one of those remember how he went viral on Joe Rogan saying like, I tried to tell them to slow down. I tried to tell them to stop. Now this guy's the biggest promoter of AI on the planet.
Yeah.
Like how the hell and people are like money. I'm like, bro, Elon Musk, if you know anything about him, he's not motivated by money. It is not money that has made him change his mind. But it's like overnight he goes from, I tried to warn them, I tried to stop them, to, oh my God, I'm going to sue Apple because Grok isn't rated high enough on their app store. Like, how does that happen? And obviously say what the other thing you're going to say too, but yeah.
Well, if you remember that Joe Rogan podcast, he specifically was talking about Mark Zuckerberg not taking the dangers of AI very seriously. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg answered back, yeah. I mean, if you look at what Facebook is doing and Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, that to me is really the more kind of terrifying aspect of it. They have more DARPA, CIA connections than I think any other kind of social media platform out there. Mark Zuckerberg, just a few days ago, I sent you the link in the private chat, talked about how, people without artificial intelligence glasses will be at a disadvantage in the future. You're not going to need the microchip because the way that tech is advancing, they could send a signal.
And they will be, Luke.
Your body. There's also nanobots that are also, if you really want to go down a crazy rabbit hole, you go down the nanobot rabbit hole and be prepared to be absolutely freaked out about the potentiality of it all. Mark Zuckerberg literally is building nuclear reactors to fuel the data centers and his AI systems at play here that will be having a huge, vast impact. I mean, if you look at the type of tech that they have, because we talked about these microchips for so long. These microchips are nothing. These microchips are archaic, old type of tech that don't matter. SWAT teams now have utilized ways to use your Wi-Fi router in order to get surveillance inside of your own home. Right. So they're able to see live pictures of what's going on in your own home just through your Wi-Fi router. And now everything is a Wi-Fi router. Your microwave, your everything's being digitized. I will make the argument that I think the three of us that are really old here understand a life without social media and the internet and the
I miss it, man. There's a movement.
And I think all three of us will argue those times were way better, and social media has made society less equal, way worse, and is absolutely destroying a nation of youth that has a defunct dopamine system, but also an absolutely totally different way of life, which I would say is absolutely not human and destructive.
let me kick it to, I'm sure Jason's got something to say here, but I was just saying, yes, it was better. And there is a movement of people who are like trying to go back to flip phones. As Jason pointed out, I had another friend who was kind of like crazy like you guys are. And like a few years ago, he said to me exactly what Jason said. And it's so true. He's just like, he's like, you think you're private, bro? If you have one of these, you are not, like, forget it. Just accept the fact that everything you do is being recorded, and life will, like, you can't, like, even I have, for example, I have a graphene phone, but I look around my house, I'm like, what? I ended up returning it because I'm like, what's the point? Like, everything in my house is connected to the internet and has cameras on it, and my refrigerator is connected to my Wi-Fi, my washers and dryers, like, the government knows when I'm doing laundry, and that's not even like a joke. Like, I know that they do. Like, if they, maybe they're not like sitting there actually watching it, but if they wanted to know, they would probably know. Go ahead, Jason.
So just because you said that with your little magic boxes and everything else, and I kind of want to get Musk nuts. First of all, on the social media thing, I don't allow it on my phone. Okay, so first of all, I don't even really have an Instagram account. When I ran a bar before me and Luke got the band back together, I ran that. That was the only reason I had that. I don't really have a private one. I have Facebook. I post none, and I mean none, of my private life there. And I just won't take part in it. And I'm much happier for it. I had a revelation, even in the MySpace days, where I posted this jackass selfie. And I'm like, you don't want to be that guy, bro. You just back off, get off the social media. Not good for you. As far as listening to everything that you do, there's a company out there, and they were outed years ago. Okay. It's called Alfonso ACR Software. Okay. So that's auto content recognition. So they act as though they're not listening to your conversation, right? So they're not taping you, and it's not a person listening. Instead, it's an algorithm that goes to the auditory noises constantly on your devices. It's not just your phone, like you just said. It's your smart TV. They were hooked into the game systems.
Remember the Alexa stuff? Where they're like, they got sued and lost because they were recording people that they're like, we're not doing that. I'm like, no, you got sued and they proved it in court and you lost. Like,
I just don't understand what the appeal of Alexa ever was. Like, here is a government listening device or a corporate listening device. Put it in your home and ask it what the weather is. Like, why did anyone think this was worth having?
Tim Pool had it everywhere. I went to the Beanie compound and there's Alexas. I'm like, what the hell is it? I started unplugging them as well as Febreze. And there was a whole big Febreze war that I think you were there for that one too. That was pretty fun. But I was like, what
not for anyone else who worked there, just for Luke.
Luke, can I just talk about, you talked about Facebook. And remember, it owns Instagram, all these social media companies, but it's also in bed with not only
WhatsApp too. Yeah.
WhatsApp, exactly. Again, these leviathans keep swallowing each other. The metaverse is really the big push. And they want to create this virtual world. And when I say they, I'm specifically referring to the WEF and the UN, who have literal web pages on it, on building social currency through this. And, he talked about nanotech. All right. I want to talk about Musk for a second. Musk is a defense contractor frontman. Okay. There's no way he's running all these companies. Let's just get a rundown of some of the companies.
Yeah.
He's a spokesperson. Let's make that very, very clear. So the Boring Company, it's great to have a kooky guy out there with a flamethrower telling you about how he's going to have cars under LA and everybody's going to have no traffic. And in fact, what are they doing? They're building underground compounds for governments and their contractors so they can
super rich. Yeah.
Okay. Defense contract. SpaceX. We're going to the moon and we're going to Mars. And they just told us we're going to put nuclear plants on the back of the moon. No. We're launching not only his Starlink, which the Defense Department has a backdoor into. Everybody knows it. In fact, do you know where the largest number of communication dishes are for Starlink in the world?
Over DC?
No, sir. They're in Ukraine and have been for several years because not only is it their communication system.
Oh, the dishes, the ground dishes. Yeah.
So again, they have to hook in not only for communications, but they directly hook into the Ghost and Sidewinder drones they use for offense. Now, along with Starlink that gets launched, DARPA has a thing called the Blackjack program. So the classified Starlink program is also launched by Musk. Over a year ago, I think it's almost a year and a half ago, they contracted Musk to build the new spy satellite network that will be after that. So that's what that does. It's the weaponization.
By the way, I love Starlink. I just say, like, as a product, this is like, Neuralink does a few good things. I live in the middle of nowhere, and Starlink is the only way that I was able to do my job with high-speed internet. Like, I will forever be thankful for it.
You use it. And like, if I was paralyzed, and I did a big thing on this, and this guy is basically using Photoshop, without being able to do the Photoshop and my thought, I would be lost. So I totally get that human aspect, but let's keep going down the line. Okay.
Ruin it for me, Jason.
I'm ruining it all.
We can't have nice things, Jeremy. You know that.
So let's get to Tesla and what they really are, because they're not a car company. All right. They are so not a car company. People need to realize that there were other big players in the market for EVs prior to this. I mean, General Motors, they all failed because they weren't subsidized by the government. What does Tesla do outside of that? Well, number one, they have the Optimus humanoid robot. That's now we're seeing these humanoid robots pop up around the world. They're fighting in competitions. They're acclimating you. There's no reason to have humanoid robots other than to acclimate you to this thing to be more human-like.
They're going to be our, what do they call them? They're going to be our avatars. They're
going to be something. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So what else does Tesla do? They're big promoters of the sustainability movement and tiny homes. But here's the big kicker. You know where they made their big bucks?
Carbon credits.
No. Oh, well, they were a big promoter of that too with the sustainability thing.
Well, I know there's software. I mean, even normies know that Tesla's not a car company. It's a software company. But you're saying, so I would say.
There's another bigger one, Jeremy. I mean, they're not making the bucks they were then.
Well, they have cameras all over their cars, so I feel like that would be all right.
Elon Musk made the vast majority of what he currently has during the COVID 1984 nightmare. He did so with Tesla partnering with CureVac. They built the micro factories that literally printed up the hate and lie shots that he says that he got injured from. So the vast majority,
he does say that.
Yeah, he does say that.
The smartest man in the world couldn't wait to get it. He went and got it anyway.
Got it. It's hard to find, but type it in, CureVac, Musk. He went to the factory in his little masker nuts, wearing his mask, and promoted this technology that was printing these things up. During COVID, he increased his wealth by, I believe, over 600%. He beat Gates. He beat Sergey Brin. He beat Buffett. He beat this is when he's like on the cover of Time magazine as the man of the year. So now you do get the Neuralink, okay? And that is a brain chip company. But he's telling you, I mean, you watch all these things. Yes, they're rolling out the injured. They want read-write as a commercialization for a hive mind type product. All of this is Defense Department and DARPA tech. And by the way, I would say this, how in the world could you run one of those companies? You'd be totally stressed out. Think of Steve Jobs, a real genius, right? And sure, Apple's got its hands in a few things. I just named a small amount of what those things are involved in, but and he owns X. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, and Steve Jobs was famously a huge asshole, like constantly stressed out, like impossible to work with. And like, yeah,
He's the one who had a kid that he like didn't acknowledge for years, right?
Yes, yeah. Usually halfway through the show, I give everyone a chance to shout themselves out. I've got a special message today too. Hopefully, people will be excited about it. But let's start with Jason to the. I know we got 17,000 on Rumble right now. Really glad you guys are here. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Kick, we're on X. You never really know how many you have on X because X lies about the numbers. They could give you concurrent viewers, but they don't because they don't have any concurrent viewers. As Jason pointed out, they just have goldfish doom scrolling. Side note, does anyone remember when Daily Wire? Sorry, this is for everyone who's on the panel. This is Jeremy's opinion, or I don't want to put anybody in any trouble with any companies, but like one of the most embarrassing things ever is when they released What is a Woman on X, and they kept tweeting about how it had like it's been viewed by 700 million people. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, first of all, anybody who's uploaded a video to X, you can click on the analytics and you can actually see how many people watch the videos. But they kept doing that. I was like, this is the most embarrassing bullshit I've ever seen in my life. And Elon kept retweeting it. I'm like, guys, I mean, sadly, everybody fell for it. Like, there are people out there that will tell you 1 billion people watched, whatever it was, like 500 million people watched What Is a Woman 2 years after it came out, and everyone had already seen it. I'm like, anyway, so sorry, side rant. Jason, tell them what you got going on, where they can find your stuff, how they can support you, all that kind of stuff. The floor is yours.
Yeah. First of all, I am a documentary filmmaker. Haven't made one in over a decade and a half, but they're all free. And I would encourage people to check them out because as good as I can rant and rave, I think that if you want to learn about 9/11, Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, please check them out. And
where
then
can you get them?
You can get them actually on my YouTube in a playlist section where it just says documentary film. So they're all there, clickable. Okay. And then my bigger picture ones are Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. But I do videos daily. And right there at my X, please follow me there. Right there, if you want to learn about transhumanism and everything I just said about Elon Musk, that top video really takes you not only through modern day transhumanism players like that's Dennis Bushnell next to Musk. That's Ray Kurzweil, who's actually the head or the spiritual success to Google's immortality division. So they not only have all that, they have an immortality division called Calico. And it's not just about immortality. They actually want to de-age. And then the person right in between them is probably the most powerful, also involved with DARPA, NASA, the founder of SiriusXM and its technology, transgender person on the planet, and wrote the book From Transgender to Transhuman, a manifesto of the freedom of form, Martine Rothblatt. And Rothblatt is heavily involved in kind of this transition. And look, transhumanism is a multitude of things that we're going to see, especially with the integration of AI right now. But at its baseline, it's two main things to what I call the predator class. They believe by experimenting on us that they will somehow, at least in some form, be able to biologically live forever. And they think they can trick the rest of us that we're so stupid and we spend so much time in a virtual world that we can upload our consciousness and live forever in that virtual world while they euthanize us. Pretty dark. Pretty dark, but you read their own writings, you see where this is going. Rothblatt is a huge advocate for the digital twinning system, and a lot of the money behind this idea that your child knows to get irreversible surgery and become whatever. In fact, in the very opening to that book I just said, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 genders. Rothblatt advocates for billions of genders.
I love it. Yeah, sounds great.
And this is something that you've been saying. I've been saying for a very long time, ever since the transgender kind of thing came up. I was like, this is a clear pathway towards transhumanism. Burmis, we've been friends for way too long. I want to ask you about this, like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Epstein fight. I want to ask you about that. But before getting into that, let's finish off the plugs here, as Jeremy is very nice to allow us to plug some of our stuff to support all of our independent media organizations. Find that old picture of us 20 years ago, because I want to show it to everyone how young we looked in the olden days. As again, it's pretty crazy, because like 20 years ago, we were looking at like all the writings of the elites and like, oh my God, they're doing this. And then we like the amount of things that we kind of predicted to call out here is insane. So if you want to support the work that I do, you could just get a t-shirt like the one that I'm wearing right now that reads, "Where's the Epstein list?" You could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. When you do get the shirts, you not only do your own form of lazy activism, but you let people know exactly where you stand. You get to meet like-minded individuals, which you need to do before the AI technocratic technocracy takes over all of our civil society. So make sure to say hi to your neighbor. You're going to need them. Make sure to start growing your own garden. Make sure to make some friends. Best way to make some friends is by getting a t-shirt, in my opinion, on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Or give your neighbor a pie. I can't recommend that enough too. And go say hi to him or her, because we're going into some very dark times. Look at that photo. Look at that youngin' right there.
Oh, he's just a little baby. Look at Luke.
That was with Alex Jones too in 2006, way back in the day.
That's before. That's at New York 9/11 Truth with Les Jameson.
Oh,
so
wow,
that's
yeah.
2005. Yeah, no, that's 2005.
Luke hadn't even gotten his first pube yet. Hannah Claire.
The balls haven't dropped yet.
Yeah.
Just young men out and about. You can find my work on YouTube, Rumble, and X. I do videos usually once a week, maybe twice, depending on how I'm feeling. It's at Hannah Claire B on all of those platforms. Thanks, as always, to those of you guys who've already subscribed. I appreciate it. Jeremy, what's your message today?
Well, we are bringing back call-ins today. Call-ins are coming back today. So if you're already a member, you can call in. Now, there's two ways you can be a member. One is if you're a Rumble Premium member, you can email me and I can add you in there. If you're a Rumble Premium member and use promo code FREEQUARTERING right now, you can get a free month. You can email me. I can put you in the members only Discord. We're starting today for all of our members. So that, again, that includes Rumble Premium people who signed up with my promo code, or people who are a member on the website, which is just $6 a month. So if you don't want to sign up for Rumble Premium, it's $6 a month. We have a members only Discord where you can submit questions to the show. There's a section now once you log in where you can submit an email. So if you don't want to call in, you can still submit questions to the show, which we're going to answer today. You can also call into the show and you can take part in our members only stuff. So basically, after today, we're going to have an hour of show, a half hour of member show, and a half hour where people on the show will be in the Discord hanging out with people. So, just a big shift to providing more premium content to our members and to doing all that kind of stuff. I know it's convoluted. Quite simply, if you're a member on the site, you can call in, you can take part in the Discord. We also have a free Discord, which is linked in the description. There's thousands of like-minded individuals in there. There's a section of the Discord that's completely free, and that's linked in the description. So definitely join the Discord, hang out. We're going to do another pumpkin carving contest. We're going to do more stuff in the members Discord. I'm shifting away from spending time on X. I'm going to spend time on Discord. So you can, if you want to call into the show, or you want to submit answers to the show, or you just want to support the show, you can do so two ways. You can be a Rumble Premium member using my promo code, or you can go to thequartering.com/join and sign up there. This is, again, better than signing up on, any other platform. The money goes directly to the show and supports us. And also the members only videos you'll also get if you join on the website too. But only ours, not everybody else's. So if you're a Rumble Premium member, you get everyone else's members only stuff, all that, no ads, blah, 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 great stuff. And you also get access to this area. But if you don't want to do that, you want to support us directly, you can do $6 a month, or you get 2 months free if you sign up for the year. It's half the price of what Tim Pool charges. All right, I mean, come on, and double the fun. So thequartering.com/join, big push today. So go sign. And Neurodivergent is linking the free Discord. If you just want to be in the free Discord, it's also in the description. So call-ins coming back today. The last section of the show will be call-ins. I won't be doing a members only section of the show today because I want to give people time to sign up. And we have a guest. If we have guests, I generally won't. I'm not going to paywall their chance to reach people and stuff like that. So that's starting today. So you can sign up on the Quartering for $6, or you can get 2 months free on the year, or you can be a Rumble Premium member. Either way, absolutely, could use your support. And this is for the first 1,000 members, and it's going to go up to $10 a month. So, that's also value, urgency. Now, I did want to, is that clear? Sign up for the Discord. Everyone will be in there every day who's on the show. And if you want to try out Discord, do the free one. And you can just see what the hell's going on there. You can figure out Discord. By the way, so Luke brought up the Musk Epstein stuff. Now, I caution because we only have probably half hour before call-ins, because I feel like this could be, people say there's a can of worms, but when you have Jason and Luke on the same panel, Hannah Claire and I might as well just start knitting some mittens. This could go off the rails. You've been warned. All right. Go ahead, Luke. Bring up the the Elon.
I just wanted to think about the power structures, and I wanted to ask Jason how he sees this kind of involving fight between Trump and Elon that's happening right now regarding the Epstein list. Since, of course, Elon also met with Epstein before a part of this like digital social hour he had with all the Silicon Tech Valley people and executives all the way back many years ago. So I was just kind of wondering what his aspect and understanding of this kind of power struggle is, and how he sees it unfolding with all the very good government, with all the big government contracts that Elon has. And now Donald Trump kind of shifting away from that and then working with other AI individuals with even more shadier pasts and shadier connections to the intel agencies like Ellison.
I don't know if he's going to lose any contracts. I've seen like the, the remark, we're going to sick Doge on Elon. As far as, you just talked about that event that was held at SpaceX with Epstein and Elon Musk. I would also say, you do have the photo with Ghislaine Maxwell that, Musk says was a photobomb. But there's that story out there that Zuckerberg put out that said that basically Elon Musk tried to introduce Ghislaine Maxwell to Zuckerberg. So I don't know who to believe.
They're all, by the way, so I want you to keep going so don't lose your spot. But like, I want to be on record. They were all in on it. Like they were all, give me a break. I'm not yelling at you.
Jeremy,
I'm saying like
the new pictures. So just so everybody also understands, these pictures that have recently come out, I don't think have gotten enough scrutiny, especially the pictures that involve, oh, I'm sorry, wrong one there, guys. The current head of Saudi Arabia and Epstein, but then you also have, let's see, do I have this other picture up here?
You have that signed dollar bill from Bill Gates saying,
there it is right there.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
But also look at all the Saudi stuff, and I believe that's Steve Bannon. With Epstein in the corner.
Yeah,
and
they were all in on it. That we're never getting the Epstein files ever,
Listen,
ever.
Bannon is sitting on 15 hours of interviews with Epstein before his New York arrest. I'm not saying that he's telling the truth there, but I bet you'll get a lot of insight into some of the business dealings and associate dealings. And one of the things that's not really discussed enough is in the New York raid, they found this passport that allegedly was fake, but it was Epstein with a different identity and a Saudi Arabian address. This is all the way back in the 80s. But that relationship goes all the way back into the modern day, as you can see, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that Prince Andrew was the UK's arms dealer. That Adnan Khashoggi, who he was connected to in the very beginning, was the arms dealer. So we can get outraged about kids, and there's a reason banks are the ones that paid out to the victims, everybody. There's a reason that Jess Staley's, JP Morgan's, Barclays, they're the ones that paid out, is because you're not only talking about money laundering, you're talking about high-level arms dealing, and all of it taxpayer funded. So just really quickly, for those that don't understand Iran-Contra, and Iran-Contra is the last time in this country we had any kind of executive accountability, despite the fact it was slaps on the wrist. Most were pardoned after the fact, and clearly
they got a Fox News gig. I think I got to fuck Oliver.
Yeah, exactly. You don't. The supposed head of it became a Fox News host, wrote books for millions of dollars, became a radio host, and the head of the NRA, Oliver North. But really, George H.W. Bush was helping run that operation. The way the arms were bought, however, was Israelis bought the arms from Czechoslovakia and Eastern Europe, and then they shipped them down to South America. So the U.S. pumped them for this kind of plausible deniability circle. Well, we know that Epstein was very close not only to the Israelis and intelligence, but people like Les Wexner, which if you guys have never read the Les Wexner Frank Luntz report that leaked during the Iraq War after we'd taken out of Saddam, I mean, this is textbook propaganda to try to keep the United States in that war. So you can't have not only, the sex stuff and the other associations, but you can't have the real James Bond, Jason Bourne, be a serial pedophile that we funded. Yeah. By the way, all these other dirtbags are dealing arms, and you just take a look at right now what's happening in Gaza and Palestine, and people are pretty outraged, right? You start linking all that together. It's not a great look. So right now what's happening, in my opinion, the DOJ has talked to Ghislaine Maxwell. I think they're going to plan to burn some lower level people, maybe some dead people. Bill Richardson comes to mind. Frame it as a Democratic thing as much as they can and really prolong whatever they're going to be able to do through the midterms. Because if they don't, the Republicans, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah. I mean, I've felt like they're definitely going to burn some people They're just trying to figure out who right now. Let me kick it to Luke. I've got to run something upstairs quick. Maggie forgot her laptop charger.
Yeah. Oh, Maggie, how dare you? I'm kidding. Maggie's great. Maggie's awesome. But there's a lot to discuss here, specifically with how things are going to be kind of moving in the future of this. I do agree with you that the midterms and everything and the overall kind of bigger kind of election after that is not going to be good for the Republicans unless they kind of address and deal with this. My next kind of thinking as you were talking was like, okay, when are the alien disclosures going to come in order to distract us away from all of this legitimate stuff? As key
No, they'll just release another jeans commercial with Sydney Sweeney, and everyone will talk about that for 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I don't think that's even going to work here. I think it's going to be alien disclosures, to be quite honest with you, because you see Tulsi Gabbard, you see J.D. Vance, you see Donald Trump, all within a kind of 2-week period, all kind of hint, oh, we're going to see some alien stuff. There's going to be some alien stuff coming out. What do you think? What do you think about that? And is it Project Bluebeam, or are they actually going to reveal something in order to obfuscate from the conversation that's happening right now?
I don't know what they would reveal. I mean, to me, that's the very first Jason Burma's teenage rabbit hole that I went down as soon as the internet was out there, is the UFO phenomenon. And from the limit, again, I was born in 79. I'm 46 years young. As a kid, my exposure to whatever UFOs were was this Time Life book series that there was commercials, read the book. And at first, I didn't believe in anything. And I saw these pictures of UFOs and I'm like, oh, what is this? What is this phenomenon? And then obviously I'm of the era of the alien autopsy video and the Greys and all these other things. I am extremely skeptical that extraterrestrial biological entities even exist within our solar system, let alone have visited us. And I think the vast majority, if not all of this, is to hide covert technologies that have been militarized. I would be extremely skeptical, even if they rolled out like a biological entity that they claimed was an alien, living or dead, with the amount of genetic experimentation we've been doing underground. I mean, you could just look at the public experimentation with chimeras, for instance. And for those that don't know what a chimera is, this is when you splice together at least 2 different types of genetic biologies. But publicly, Luke, I mean, we've been covering it for years. I think it was back in 2008, they made the glow-in-the-dark pigs. Remember that? And obviously, you've had those square watermelons. And with that technology, by the way, which is jellyfish technology, they use a fluorescent dye within a jellyfish to genetically create them. You saw that go into the luciferase that was in some of the precursors to the shots as well. So transhuman technology, genetic engineering has been around for a very, very long time. And I think we have been lied to so much. For instance, on this latest Iranian strike, he said B-2 bombers hit those 4 nuclear sites. Really? I'd bet they used something different. I mean, they haven't disclosed any kind of aircraft for how long. And then when you get into like the real story of Area 51, and not only was it a nuclear test bed and other type of facility where they were experimenting, but it's where the ox cart, which was totally classified, it was deemed so classified that Lyndon Baines Johnson didn't even know it existed until they wanted to put it on display. And this was a plane that went 60,000 feet. So look, I think the vast majority of that disclosure stuff is Johnny nonsense. I think a lot of the people in that movement, Stephen Greer in particular, are extremely compromised. I mean, Greer, and I'll just say it for those that don't get it. If you watch the movie Sirius, and that was the first one of the series, it's very clear that Stephen Greer is a closeted homosexual having an affair with his bodyguard. And compromise, 100%. You heard it on the quartering here first.
You heard it from Jason Burmas. If you're looking for any kind of lawsuit, you want to reach out. His name is Jason Burmas.
Come and sue me. I look at a guy like that, and he's got a family, and I get it. But even if you listen to where he got a lot of, that initial information working with Lawrence Rockefeller. I watched, that National Press Club disclosure video back in the day when it first came. I mean, that's how obsessed I was with this topic. And the reason I call out Greer in particular, I mean, he had people going out into the desert, summoning UFOs at parties, paying all this money. I'm sorry, man. I respect all the people out there that are in it for real in the independent media and all these things, but that's a super grift. Like, Jeremy, if you start having camp out parties where you're going to get to communicate.
Nobody tell them about my UFO party that I had last year and charged $100 a head to get into.
There was a lot of probing there.
Yours are serious.
Yeah, there was. It was exclusively for we called it the probe experience. There were no actual aliens, but
there's deep investigations.
Mm-hmm. Hannah Claire.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I would say I had another topic.
I don't even know where to go right now.
I know. I came in. I'm like, oh, great. We're going to get sued.
Talking about the man-bear-pig chimera and the genetically.
Did you see the rabbit things? The rabbits with the horns that they're going viral.
Oh yeah, it's the ones with the viruses. They're basically
what the hell? Let me pull up a picture. It's a virus or whatever. It looks like they're fucking Resident Evil.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to like the human and animal experimentation that the U.S. government is doing, as well as the Chinese government is doing. The Chinese government is actually biologically creating super soldiers that are resistant towards radiation. So this is the type of stuff that they're developing. I believe that a lot of the UFC fighters, those Dagestani guys, they're all like genetic Russian super soldiers, in my personal opinion.
Oh, the ones that keep winning the UFC, like that one where Khabib is from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or they literally had Khabib wrestling bears as a child, and you can watch videos of him swimming upstream in an ice cold river that would have killed not only normal men, but I would believe Olympic athletes as well. So I don't know.
I don't buy those Dagestanis. I'm not a.
Khabib, if you're looking for lawsuit information, his name is Luke Wardowski. He lives in Miami, Florida. You may even want to hand deliver it. If you need his address, just hit me up, dude. I'm happy to provide.
Let's go Duplessis. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose so bad. But let's go Duplessis.
Yeah. It's wild out there. Before we go to calls. I want to demand a white pill, Jason. Give me. We're gonna go around. We're gonna white pill people. Today's show was a little. It was awesome. By the way, you crushed. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being so engaging and not sucking as a guest. Not that we've ever had guests that sucked before, but I just mean you did very, very. I mean, very, very good. Hopefully, a lot of people will check out your content on X and YouTube. We're gonna go to call-ins. We're going to let people ask a couple questions. So if you're a member in the Discord, go ahead and head on over to the members area. And I'll also make a video on how to do this, because I realize a lot of people who have been on the show or they don't know how the hell to use Discord or how the hell to call in. But yeah, go ahead and give us something. I'm on the edge, Jason. I'm literally, I'm not actually running errands upstairs. I've had the car running in the garage. I just want to make sure that there's enough exhaust in there. That's what I'm checking. Give me something.
First of all, I'm a big believer in that ignorance is not bliss. A lot of people say that I'm a big bummer, but I am an upbeat guy. I'm Smiles McGrady. I tell people that you got to get out. I'll be walking my dog soon. I got to take my niece to volleyball. Live your life. That's number one. And number two is, there is positivity. You do have great power as a human being. For instance, the only reason that we're really even talking about Epstein at this point is of people like Luke and myself that have been hammering this for 20 years, that is now into the zeitgeist, where they at least have to address it. These people haven't addressed things in so long. And even Trump getting in is kind of a, refutation of the old guard. That being said, I think this time around, I don't know about Epstein, whatever limited hangout thing they're going to do. I think you will get indictments in this Russiagate Trump thing. I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't expect anybody to go to prison. I don't know that you're going to get successful prosecutions. Step in the right direction. A lot of people say that's not enough. I've been so black-pilled and that I've just told, listen, you're going to have to navigate all of this information. That's the bottom line. You're going to have to make individual decisions because these things are going to encompass us. But a couple other positives. Look, RFK Jr. Addressing the mRNA technology, right? Huge. Tulsi Gabbard not being a complete warmonger. And at least they're not just frothing at the mouth with the same talking points about, Russia bad and, Israel always good. I mean, Trump seemed at least, really upset when he sat there and he said, I think they've been at war so long that they both don't know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? He seemed pretty emotional.
That was a real moment. Yeah.
I think it's real. And we haven't had that kind of reality. Is it enough? Before you were here, I talked about being on that Reawaken America tour and kind of backstage with a lot of these people that are now in the administration. I hate that type of person. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a social climber. I'm not vying for a spot in a cabinet. I don't want to be a politician. In fact, I often think to myself, if I did become a politician and I was successful, what could I even really do? Like, how far could it go? We're seeing really limitations within the executive. So that's an issue with me. But as far as white pilling people, look, I'm not a bummer of a guy. I was over at Ice 9 Kills this weekend. I'll be watching the UFC. In fact, not only watching the UFC, I will be at a dinner tomorrow night with my good friend who I call MMA fights with a couple times a year, UFC Hall of Famer Jens Pulver, as he tries to open up this facility to give young fighters an opportunity to get more experience. So there are things outside of geopolitics. Embrace those as well, but be damn well aware of what's really going on in the world.
Yeah, the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than you think it does, and there are great people. Tulsi, I just saw Tulsi at Ron Paul's 90th birthday. But listen, Jeremy,
Rubio's been good too.
Here, you could get pounded in the head with in an MMA fight until your brain stops working, so the neurochip can't get in there, and then you'll forget about everything that's happening here. That's one. Another white pill. Another white pill. There could be a solar flare, right? A solar flare.
Are these white pills? I'm not sure what's happening right now.
There could be a massive EMP that gets fired and all the brain chips suddenly disappear. That's true.
Yeah. So, we'll go back to olden times.
Yeah, that was a terrible white pill. Hannah Claire.
Oh, dude, I have the cutest baby on the planet. I'm always
I knew you were going to say that.
Look, this is what happens. You have a kid and you're like, I have to just push through all of these things, and I'm grateful for it. I think part of it is, and I am happy to be our resident boomer, afraid of technology. I don't like it. I would personally unlearn how to use my iPhone if I could, But I think the reality is, I think there are enough people who want good and who will fight for it that you are able to continue on. And I think you shouldn't become so like, it's hopeless. Why can't I do anything just yet? I think you should try and do what you can to protect your privacy or get offline or whatever your version of resistance is. And then you should have a baby. And I hope it's as cute as mine.
Well, it will be cuter, but that's neither here nor there. I would say
competitive.
I mean, look, I would say maybe this is not this is a little bit more of a gray pill, but it's kind of like there are good things going on and you should balance them. It's like, yeah, Trump and Iran wasn't good, but Trump's economy is kind of crushing it. And, there's some, Kash Patel blows ass. He's been a complete disaster, but and Dan Bongino too. But there are still a lot of good things happening, and that you should just take a moment to hey, look at your 401k over the last 6 months, or look at the price of gas, or look at, there are things that are happening. We're not talking about men in women's locker rooms anymore. We're not talking about men taking away spots. We're not talking about people who are getting canceled anymore.
They made women's sports watchable.
Yeah, well, the dildo was genius. But
I think that's such a white pill. The fact that someone was like, this is funny and I'm going to do it again and again. Look, people are still fighting the good fight in America.
Yeah, the memes are still getting through.
The green dildo fight of 2025. Who would have thought that's the white pill?
Lou may not have been the declassifier in chief, but
I was promised that.
Yeah, we were promised that the FBI would be a museum too. I do want to get a couple super chats, and then we'll get some questions, and we'll take some calls. Tim's final graphics card says Tucker's mother Agapia interview was so cringe. Oh, I can't believe we didn't talk about that because I have some thoughts. I didn't care for it. I don't like Tucker as much as I used to. But I wish I had more time to explain it. Does anybody want to have a take they want to share about it? Jason's got something on his mind. I can see his eyes are. I don't know what he was doing with that.
Man. Listen, he's got a huge audience. I like it when he interviews somebody like the president of Iran while we're in a military conflict, and nobody else is going to give that long form interview. Just like when Tulsi Gabbard spoke with Assad, I think that those are positive things. At the same time, he is giving people political platforms that I don't think should have them, like Conor McGregor, and not discussing the fact that there's a multitude of evidence, including a court case he's now lost twice, where he's a brutal, violent serial rapist.
Yeah,
and you don't want him as the head of any, and that's a problem with Trump.
How does that keep going? Yeah, Trump's going to let him fight at the White House. I'm like, dude, this guy is on record like multiple sexual assaults, and like everyone's just like, oh, that's cool.
He lost, dude. People don't understand how graphic that was.
That's brutal.
She spent weeks in the hospital. She had to have a tampon surgically removed from her cervix. And she was so scared to name him, not only because his power within the MMA world, but because he is connected to the Kinahan family, a mafia family that executed someone on tape at a boxing weigh-in that she didn't want to name him. Okay. And she wanted criminal charges. She didn't want to. In fact, check this out. People don't know this.
It was a civil case, right?
Well, because they refused. Listen, if you look at Ireland's numbers, it's literally over 90% get away with sexual assault there. It's crazy. And they don't even charge. In fact, McGregor went in after being questioned after all this evidence in January 17th, after almost a month. And he said it was consensual and they just let him go. Okay.
Yeah.
When he won, she had already been offered $1 million, not even to try to bring it to criminal trial. She declined that. Only won 270, I think 8,000.
She lost less, yeah.
Well, not only that, but her legal bills, which she just had lost and had to pay, were $1.3 million. They were 4 times what she won against that guy.
Yeah, it was. By the way, another white pill is a lot of people seem to be joining the Discord, so that's cool. But remember, that's free. So you can, the Discord's free. There's a members area. Yeah, there's some perks there. It's $6. Yes, I would prefer you. I hope you join there. But, I like to get you in there anyway. Real Robot says, Luke might care about this. New Google Play Store policy forces AML/KYC on non-custodial wallets in the US. Effectively bans non-custodial wallet developers from Play Store in the EU. I don't know what that means. Is that crypto stuff?
Yeah, that means you need to give up your driver's license in order to do anything with Bitcoin or crypto or alternative currencies.
Well, the biggest lie I ever told was that Bitcoin was anonymous. There was a long time people still tell me that. And I'm like, yo, the government seizes it all the fucking time, right? Our government's probably the biggest holder of Bitcoin in the world, right?
Jeremy, just to talk about that really quick, because they always talk about, well, if you got your keys and your private keys.
Bullshit.
About 2 years ago, there was a movement of, I think it was over $2 billion in Bitcoin. And I forget where it was sitting, but it might have been.
I remember this. Yeah.
People thought, oh, Satoshi, who's also a figment,
the creator.
Yeah, he's shown his face. No, what actually happened is you had a couple of guys that were running a pirate site. And it's funny because a lot of those pirate sites, they would actually charge you in crypto, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They didn't even do that. They just took the money they had and invested it in Bitcoin. They got those guys in a room, got their keys, took all of their
they
Bitcoin.
Took everything.
But they can't even use it to get lawyers. That shows you how safe your Bitcoin is. Because if you're in that room and say someone's got a hammer in your finger, chances are by the time they get to your middle finger, they have your keys.
Yeah, I mean, Luke's buddy too, right? Luke's buddy, didn't they seize his Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And like that, yeah. I could go on for hours about like the biggest lie ever told. It felt like a honeypot. Like the government's like, hey, all these criminals will move their shit into Bitcoin and we'll just go get it. Like the fucking, just look at, if you're a crypto normie like me, look at what CoffeeZilla can do. He's just like a regular dude who will trace down any crypto scam right down to he'll figure out who got all the money. Just one dude. What do you think the government can do? You know, like there's nuts. Soundwave says, how long till Trump and his admin gets wind of all the censorship going on in the U.S.? Do you think he's in on it? He hates Epstein files being brought up. Let's annoy him with this. I mean, I don't know. I think that Trump, I mean, the whole like credit card people discriminating against like Gooner video games got to Trump, and he did pass an executive order about the debanking of people, which we all know is really because he got debanked. But we don't really have to worry about like there is other people that benefit from that. There are lots of other people that got debanked. Yes, he passed he did the executive order because it's his own personal vendetta. But I hope, you know, before it's too late. Aiden verse, by the way, white pill on that. People are like getting around that digital ID by using like pictures of Stalin and like, you know, fake pictures and stuff like that. Like, it's not as good as people think. Aiden verse says, I did contract with a sub company at Google called Lionbridge. We would complete quote tests for Google where some of them were audio clips of random conversations. That was all the way back in 2010. Oh, for sure. Pinochet's helicopter shows the Industrial Revolution has its consequences and have been a disaster for the human race. Grogbear the Fearsome. I would recommend a story called Mother Horse Eyes about LSD and the CIA. All sorts of crazy stuff. There's a reading they did on Creepcast, and some of it makes you think, even just as a creepy story. Okay, shout out to that. Soundwave also, what are some commentators you used to like somewhat watch, but now can't stand or look at that much? Mine was Clickbait Benny Johnson or Tucker Carlson.
This person's here for drama.
Yeah, I can't. I don't want to like put anyone on blast, but I will say this. You know, Tucker will interview he'll have some duds like the guy who blew Obama or whatever. I'm like, is this really a breaking story? Like,
that was a great show.
No, it wasn't.
That was awesome.
No, it wasn't. It was
incredible.
Like, it was actually so bad that it made me look at Tucker in a different way. Cause I was like, really, dude, that chick that looks like a man that was on, but I still think his voice is incredibly important because he has the platform he does. He's one of the most culturally, if not the most culturally relevant news person out there. If he wants to have a couple of dud interviews, that's so be it. Some people will say, I really hate that Jason guy, you know, or like Luke's other buddy, the numerology guy. But like, it's still cool to have like them on, and it's still cool that he platforms them. And I still think it's cool he went to Russia. Yeah. Even though I know it was a little cringe where he's like, look at the grocery stores. Look, this is amazing. And I'm like, Tucker, have some fucking self-respect. Like, it was
you have to like 100% of the content the creator that you like overall puts out, right?
Yeah.
Like, some of it is to expose you to information or a person that you might not be interested in, and like maybe you don't watch that episode. That's fine. I'd
like
rather
Joe
have
Rogan.
someone who has a broad range than who's like trying to interview the same guest as everybody else.
Yeah, Rogan. I don't watch every episode of Rogan. And then Corn Pop says, can you guys say SIRI? No, I'm not going to trigger everybody's cell phones by saying, hey, Siri, how many people died in the Holocaust?
I would never do that to you guys.
I would never do that. And then
now
let's go.
Alexa.
Yeah. Don't ask Alexa. God, remember Alexa? Remember that like people were asking about Trump versus Kamala, and they were like, oopsie. And it's like, bitch, 100 million Americans, you were like basically skewing the election. Or Google, you know, Google got caught in 2016. Like, oh, you search for Trump, it shows all of this bad stuff. You search for Joe Biden, it shows all that. Like, anyway, we're out of time. I can't go down. The tech stuff is bonkers to me. He had to do it. Yeah. He had to do a hit piece on Fuentes. I stay away from Nick Fuentes. I've offered him a spot to come on the show, but what comes with him is a lot. You know, he can kind of defend himself just fine. Now, I don't have everyone. I didn't prepare, so they're going to have to answer on the show. So if you're in the call waiting room, you're going to have to ask a question, and then you're going to have to listen to the answer on the show. Tomorrow, I'll get everyone in the Discord. All right, so let's grab a question from Swamp Cleaner. I don't know if you heard that part, but nobody else is in the Discord except for me. Oh wait, they'll be able to hear you in a second when I'm not an idiot. But they'll have to answer on the show because they're not in here. Go ahead. Can you guys hear him? Oh, hold on then. Maybe not. Hold on. Just kidding.
Hello, say hi.
Rawr.
Good job.
Come
Good
here.
job. All right, couch.
Come. Run up here.
It's German Shepherd hour.
Run up.
Jason, go get your
Where's
dog.
your pooch, Jason? Is it well trained?
I'd have to open up the upstairs. I think he's probably snuggling with my niece before she's got to go out to her thing. But I would have loved that if I knew we were having a dog moment. I would have had him down here.
Yeah, I wonder. I tried to let me see. I think I remember I had this problem. Oh, I know what I have to do. Hold on, I'll be right back. I have to go into the web app. Sorry, it's been a minute. We're just bringing it back now. So
when I started, call-ins were like a regular staple institution. I'm really glad that they're coming back. I feel like it's cool to hear from your audience.
Yeah, and I'm hoping a bunch of people join as a member so they can call in, and I can afford to pay people money. Okay.
What a concept.
Yeah, here we go. I think this will work, and then they should be able to hear. Hold on a second. Share, tab, audio. All right, go ahead, Swamp Cleaner. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
Okay, they got you. Go ahead.
Okay, they hear me. Okay, hey everybody. Good to see you guys all together. I just want to say this show has been going really well. Community has been growing. It's a pleasure to see. My one question for everybody, and Jeremy, you touched on this earlier, was the fact that short form videos are like destroying kids' attention spans and minds. I want to expand on that, and my question is, because information is on everybody's fingertips now, everybody seems to be kind of like their own armchair expert on everything, and because of that, there's a lot of very knee-jerk reactions to certain topics back and forth between people. It causes a lot of anger and disillusionment on the internet. And do you think we'll ever be able to reverse that trend?
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, we'll add. Thanks for the question, Swamp, and we'll answer on the show. No, we're never going to be able to reverse the trend. People in their nature like to argue. I think that's just the way they are. But I throw it to the panel on the, kind of the short form goldfishization of society. I mean, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, if it ever gets better. But what do you guys think?
I think you'll see a breakup. I think there are all these reports that all these Silicon Valley tech experts, their children actually aren't allowed to have tablets, and they're not allowed to, have smartphones and whatever else. I think you see a difference. I mean, anecdotally, I know a girl who runs like a formal wear store. They sell like prom dresses and stuff. And she said when she was interviewing, teenagers to come help with the busy season, there was a whole section where they don't socialize normally. They seem uncomfortable. And then there's the other half, which are very confident. They operate as if they are not even the same age as the other people. And I think ultimately how much technology exposure you have for children, I think will dictate what their attention spans are like. I think generally, even with the internet, you see a breakup between people who are leaning into the video content versus like somebody who's dominant on Substack, which like does not want video content at all, that wants to be written, that wants this longer form. It's will be bad. I think it'll be terminal for people who pursue it, but it won't be necessarily the downfall of every single person.
Anybody with anything to add?
We're screwed. It's only going to get worse. People are understanding now that if they fight each other, they get more attention, and they're just going to keep fighting and being more negative and regressive. We're right now the corporate media, right? We're right now the mainstream media. We are the mainstream. We're taking this time to fight each other, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Let's stop fighting each other. Let's kind of move forward in a direction where we could actually cohesively build and grow as a nation by providing good information to people to actually act on, rather than just be like, oh, I dunked on him, he dunked on me, he's a Fed. No, he's a Fed. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Let's try to save humanity from the technocratic AI probe coming up your butt soon.
So can I white pill a little bit on this one?
Yeah.
I'll say this. With everything you guys said, there's never been more long form content available to anybody. okay, ever in the history of the world. You know, a lot of people want to take hot steaming dumps on Stern with this news that he wasn't going to get renewed on Sirius. I actually knew about it last year. I had a buddy that was working in Rockefeller Plaza, and they said basically they're not making enough money. They're not going to renew. And he was like, you should try to get a gig at Sirius. They're going to have a bunch of money. I'm like, yeah, we'll see about all that. But my point is this. If you seek that stuff out, you can get it, and you kind of have to set parameters. Kind of going back to what I was doing, in between all this stuff before, again, I got back together with Luke and on the independent media train, I was running a bar. And, I had 30 employees. And one of the rules, now they were short shifts. You had a 4-hour shift, and you could certainly go in the back room. But you didn't bring your phone behind the bar. It was locked in the other room. If you can't have that same kind of discipline with your children at certain points, well, you're not much of a parent. And if you don't have that same discipline as a human being, it's almost like you get what you deserve. Again, I've never had a Snapchat. I've limited myself. The problem is, again, though, most people do jump on trends. I don't want a TikTok, Jeremy, but like you said, TikTok may be the only way to grow.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want a TikTok either, but it's like it's the only way to grow. So I have a separate phone and like an old phone that I wiped, and then like my assistant uploads to TikTok from there. It's not on any of my shit. Like, by the way, let me know if anybody joined today. Let me know that it's working. That's a low-key way to try to encourage people to join right now. We have a couple of email submissions from members, so you don't have to call in. This is from Christopher Wilt saying, when will you have the great Andrew Wilson on your show? I'm happy to have him on whenever. I'll DM him today, and I'll get him on when he's free.
I can reach out to him as well.
Yeah, Derek Shields says, Maxwell is getting out of jail, and nobody's talking about it. I had not heard that.
No, so let's talk about that real quick. Yeah. We don't know that that's true yet. So I certainly hope it's not true. But remember, she has been cooperating with the DOJ behind closed doors, and then was immediately moved to a much cushier prison where, for instance, what was that scam company? The head of that is out there.
A jail, not even a prison anymore.
Exactly. And what has been alleged is that paperwork was obtained by a blogger that said out in a certain specific area that would allow her to go out for different types of programs, work release, etc. And Epstein, this is why it's not far-fetched. Remember, Epstein had that same deal in 2008 in Palm Beach, and that wasn't revealed for over a decade. Now, her lawyer has come out and denied these allegations, saying it's just out there to inflame people. I think that's
probably true.
Well, I'm just saying this. A lot of people broke out their jump to conclusions, Matt, on the Epstein birthday card from Trump.
Shout out to Office Space, one of my top 5 all-time favorite movies, by the way.
It's a good one. I tried not to do that. When I read what it was, I'm like, well, let me see it first. And then when I saw that it was on the Trump letterhead, then I saw the drawing and where it was signed, grabbing him by the pussy, and the fact that there's a whole birthday book of people like Clinton and Woody Allen that were also part of it. I'm saying that probably came from his office. I don't know that he wrote the message himself. Someone probably typed it up, but I'm 80 to 90% sure he's the one that drew that. You'd have to present some pretty compelling information otherwise. And all the conservative and it's fake. We know it's fake. How do you know it's fake? You didn't even look at it.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Somewhere inside here, automatic gain control. I think that's what's screwing up my audio. I'm watching my audio like bounce all around by itself. Okay, there. I think that's good. No, it's not. It keeps getting quieter. What the hell? Discord. I'll get that fixed by tomorrow. Soft launch today. Yeah. So if you joined as a member, you don't have to call in. You can just, you can literally just
send an email.
Send an email from the members area now. It's 2 people did today. That's pretty good. I don't know why my mic keeps changing, but let's grab another.
Literally being silenced by technology. It's crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
The technocrats are coming. The technocratic overlords, AI systems are screwing you over, Jeremy. It's over.
Let me try this. Okay. I think it was StreamYard. Okay. Well, let's see. Any new joiners today? By the way, you can join the Discord for free. No, that's still doing it. What the fuck? Okay, well, let's take a call. I'm worried about this offline. Mega, what's on your mind? Oh, I don't know if you heard,
Jeremy.
If I don't know if you heard, but they can't hear you, so they'll have to answer.
We hear 'em.
after. No, I mean no, they can't reply, so they'll reply on the show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're going to reply. Well, it's nothing major, but you know, when it comes to you, Jeremy, I've only come here to talk smack and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Now, the thing that I need to holler at you about is you're not going to drop the ball like you did with Terrence Popp, right? I was kind of
Liberty.
That's correct.
No, I've talked to her. I invited her on last week. She was busy. She's got I won't say publicly. She's got stuff going on. But yeah, we're gonna have her on.
She told me.
Yeah,
she told me, and that's why I laid off of you on the Rumble ramp. I basically say, you know what, I'm gonna give him a reprieve right now.
I appreciate
now,
it.
You know who I would not give a reprieve to? Luke Milkers. I'm not giving him a reprieve. I'm going to talk smack about him, but you know what? I'm going to save it for when he can actually reply and respond, because you know I personally don't think it's fair to beat on Luke and he cannot even respond.
I appreciate that.
And as far as Hannah Claire, I have nothing against her. She's mighty fine.
All right. Well, hey, good to hear you again. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, Luke Milker.
Yes, and I'm glad that you're bringing callbacks in, because I've been spending the past few weeks scratching my head, thinking about how you say one thing and then either you forget or do another.
Yeah. Well, they're back for good. You have my word.
I like this caller.
You know what? I'm starting to feel a little nervous about your word, Jeremy. I'm starting to feel a little worried.
All right. Well, we'll talk tomorrow.
I'm going to hold your feet to the fire on this one.
All right. Have a good one, dude. Good to hear you.
All right.
I like this guy. I like his caller, and he could go off. I'm okay. I could respond afterwards. LukeMilkers.com, great website. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You love the people that show yourself. We'll grab one more caller, and then I'll figure out why the hell my audio is just automatically adjusting and getting quiet. Do you guys hear it getting quieter and quieter?
Yeah.
And quieter? Yeah. That's so weird.
It could be your balls dropping.
No, it's the browser is automatically adjusting my audio. I'm gonna leave everything up and I'll worry about it afterwards. One more call here. Bob. Bob.
I'm here.
Hey.
I'm here.
What's on your mind?
Well, first time caller, long time listener for one. You guys talking about everything plugged in. Then what do we do if it's an inevitable that everything is doomed?
I love it. We're gonna finish on that question. We're gonna answer on the show though, because they're not in the Discord today. They'll be in tomorrow though. Appreciate you, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna answer live though. You'll hear it.
Yeah. So I'll disconnect and listen.
Yeah. All right. Oh, he sounded really disappointed. Sorry, Bob. Damn. I think his question was, what do you do if there's this is an inevitability? And I think this is just one of those things that you risk manage the best you can. What do you guys think?
I don't know that we're doomed. I tell people, I used to be very naive, especially in the 9/11 days of that picture and me and Luke. When I was standing next to Luke Rudowski in that moment, I thought that we were going to get criminal accountability of 9/11. Thought we were going to put people in jail. I thought we were going to restore our constitutional republic. That's obviously not going to happen. At the same time, I want to know what's going on so that maybe I don't inject me and my family with bioweapons the next time they try to propagate that against me. At the end of the day, I tell people stay human. It's not that you have to resist all this technology. I am not a Luddite, but you have to utilize it as a tool as much as possible and identify it when it's being used as a tool against you and others like you. And, I've had conversations a lot with Joe Allen. He's the transhumanist expert over at the War Room, and he wrote Dark Eon. And when we're bummed out about the future and kind of talking about this stuff, I say this. I think that something is going to come along, a technology, something unforeseen. I do not think that these people are omnipotent and have wargamed everything that will truly change the game and give humanity not only a fighting chance, but a tool for victory. And I think that that's not hopium. I think that we've proven time and time again in our darkest moments that some people, even insignificant seeming individuals, have been able to overcome and alter history for a positive step of humanity. And that's what we got to go for.
I love it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's an importance of just not getting too doom and gloom. I mean, things are tough and you will maybe have to adjust how you consume technology or be more vigilant in some cases, but it's not over till it's over. And I don't think it's over yet.
Well, to wrap up, let's go one more time around the horn here and tell the people where they can find your content.
Jason first, because he's the guest.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate the conversation. You can find everything Jason Bermas, Bermas, by checking me out there at YouTube, Rumble. I'm on X at Jason Bermas. And like I said, all my documentary films are free. Please watch them, share them, and don't take my word for anything. Although I do really try to source my material and share that stuff, you guys can read the same white papers I read. You can watch the same speeches that I present. You can read the same articles. Do your own research. Should have never been demonized. And I would suggest taking a plethora of different viewpoints, mainstream, alternative, obscure, and then using your God-given human discernment to think for yourself critically. And we're missing so much of that in society.
Love it. Yeah, solid end. Go ahead, Luke. Milkers.
YouTube.com/ We Are Change. I'll just put it in the comment section so people could just click on it. I'm going to be doing a video right now because Congresswoman Luna Paulina just came out on Joe Rogan talking about how there's interdimensional beings. I'm going to go deep down the rabbit hole since I've been talking about
what's her name, Luke?
Anna Paulina Luna.
There it is. Yeah. You asked that woman to marry you. You don't even know her name.
That's the wrong woman. That was Valentina Gomez.
Oh yeah, Valentina. Yeah,
Valentina Gomez. We had a bet in Las Vegas. That's a different story there that I don't think is public. Anyway,
marriage still pending, guys. Don't worry.
Any minute.
You can catch up with my escapades and talking about interdimensional demons and entities like I've been talking about for quite a long time. YouTube.com/ We Are Change. Go subscribe. I'm down the whole like Monday I was like down 100. Yesterday I was down 200. Today I'm down 400 negative subscribers. So something is really negative happening to my YouTube channel. So subscribe. It means a lot to get out of this algorithm hellhole that I'm in right now. So YouTube.com/ We Are Change. Subscribe now. It means a lot to me. And Atlas too, right, Atlas? Yeah. Good job.
I just want there to be an Atlas only vlogging channel. Like I want everything GoPro from Atlas's perspective.
Right, Atlas?
Like she could be a star. You guys can find my work on Rumble and YouTube. It's at Hannah Claire B. I'm also on X, Hannah Claire B. I do videos on the news, some cultural analysis. Thanks to everyone who's already subscribed. Thanks to you guys who tuned in today. You should come back tomorrow to see Astrocast, 2 of my favorite days of the week. And that's it from me. Jeremy, any announcements? Anything to tell us about today?
No. But I would say
sign up.
Please do go to thequartering.com/join. I don't want to get into it, but we could definitely use your support. I will be investing basically exclusively into the members area because that's really the only way to make it anymore. That, you know, you can't really count on ad revenue. And, you know, it's so tomorrow we're going to start kind of members only section at the end of the show. We're going to keep the call-ins, but then also we'll be in the Discord more, which I'm going to talk to everybody about too. And so take a second to learn how Discord works, you know, log in, and it's really just a chat room. I mean, there's a free version, which is linked in the description. So you can just, you know, join the free side. And then if you like it, you know, it's $6. Like it's, you know, and then you can do call-ins, you can email the show, you get your questions answered on the show, all sorts of other cool stuff. So I hope that you guys will go over there. Otherwise, also, if you're a Rumble Premium member, you can get access to. You just have to email me at thequartering@gmail.com, and I'll verify it and add you that way too. So both ways are great. I hope you guys all had fun. Thank you, Jason, for coming on the show and absolutely crushing it. Make sure everyone goes and checks out his content and follows him. And we'll see you tomorrow for Astrocast, 2 p.m. Eastern. The current queen of viewership on the Quartering Network, the queens of viewership, the Testrocast cannot compete. So we'll have Melanie Mack and Hannah Claire tomorrow at 2 Eastern as well. And then, so we'll see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.